For the last 10 days, I have eaten nothing but beef, eggs, and a little bit of cheese. And here's what happened. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Mona. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications so you're always up to date when I upload a new video. All right, so I have been on the carnivore diet for the last 6 months, and basically the last 6 months I have done a lot of trial and error. I've had no fruit, I've added fruit, I've had no honey, added dates, avocados, I've just done meat. I've just done meat and eggs. I've just done meat, eggs, and cheese. I've tried a lot of different things to kind of figure out what works for me. But the one thing I haven't tried is officially cutting out all plant products, including coffee. So just to give you guys kind of a clear picture on like what the difference is from what I was doing before to what I was doing during these 10 days. My diet before was meat, eggs, dairy, fruit, and a little bit of honey. I was having maybe like a tablespoon a day. I was having a couple other things like avocados, which I guess is technically a fruit, and then coffee. So coffee is the one thing in the last 6 months that I have never given up. I will say I've gone off coffee a couple times in the last year, but when I say gone off coffee, I've just switched to decaf. So I've never like officially stopped drinking coffee, even if it's decaffeinated. And I just felt like I was really curious to kind of see what would happen. And it's still technically a plant food. You're still technically not supposed to have it on carnivore. So I cut that out for the last 10 days. So basically this diet is 0 plant foods, 0 carbs, 0 caffeine, 0 grains, sugars, starches, basically like nothing that doesn't come strictly from an animal. So dairy, meat, eggs, things like that. So that is the diet that I followed for the last 10 days. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I initially set a goal to do this for 30 days. So 10 days ago, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a 30-day strict pure carnivore challenge. And then today I woke up, today's day 11, and I was like, no, I don't wanna keep going. I feel like I got a lot of answers that I needed in the last 10 days. Realistically, it wasn't even the carbs or anything so much that I was missing. It was just mainly the coffee, and I feel like life is already so hard, you know? If something as little as like 1 cup of coffee a day helps you with like getting some work done or just like feeling better, I feel like that's not a big deal and that's not something to feel guilty about. So I just wanted to say that as a disclaimer because I'm gonna show you, I vlogged every day for the 10 days. I'm gonna show you like my daily reactions, but you'll notice in I think maybe a couple of the days, I like mentioned day 30 or like this and that. So yeah, I cut it off at 10 days. But let me show you kind of how I felt over the last 10 days. And then at the very end, we'll kind of do a recap and I'm gonna go over some specific topics. So here is how I felt the last 10 days on a pure carnivore diet. Let's go. Day 1 was hard. That's all I have to say. It's so late. It's like midnight, but I realized I forgot to do this check-in. Day 2 done. I feel just as terrible as yesterday. I'm definitely going through some carbohydrate withdrawal, which is interesting because I was only having around like 40 to 60 grams of carbs a day from some fruit and honey, which really is still a pretty low carb diet, but I don't think it's mainly that. I think the caffeine withdrawal is hitting me because I haven't given up coffee since I've started the carnivore diet. So no coffee the last 2 days, no carbs. I have like no appetite for meat. Like I tried to eat a burger for dinner and I almost like threw up. So strong start. Let's see what happens. Day 3 was better. Day 1 and 2 were really bad. Day 3 was better. I didn't have as much as a headache from like the coffee withdrawal, and weirdly I wasn't as hungry, so I would say definitely yesterday was the best day yet. Hopefully it keeps going at this rate and doesn't go back to how it was feeling the first couple days, but slowly but surely getting better. Day 4 was the hardest one yet. I don't know what is happening. I felt like pretty decent the first 3 days, I guess, compared to this, but today I'm just like ravenous. Like I'm so hungry. Like I didn't think I was gonna be able to get through today, and I ate like 2300 calories today. I ate a lot. I ate big meals, but I'm just like having a lot of cravings right now. I'm super hungry, I'm craving coffee. I don't know. Like just based off how I was feeling today, I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm gonna keep going for the first week and hopefully that will pass. Day 5 was a little bit better. The coffee cravings are going down, which is good. Doesn't mean I do still want it, but the cravings aren't as intense. I'm not having as intense cravings for like other carbs or like pizza chips, things like that. But weirdly, like I'm still finding I'm really hungry. Like even yesterday, I ate like 2,200 calories. I had so much food, but I'm still really hungry. So I don't know. That's the latest update right now though. Let's see what happens. Day 6. I feel like you guys are watching like the most depressing 30-day challenge ever, but I'm sure it's gonna get better after the first week. I'm genuinely shocked at how much I'm struggling. All I've cut out is a little bit of fruit, a little bit of honey, and some coffee. I thought I was strict before, but this is strict. This is strict. This is a whole other level of willpower, and I just feel like time is going by so slow. I'm like, how? I feel like I've been on this for weeks. How is it only day 6? I don't know. On the plus side, yesterday I made pizza, carnivore pizza, and I was actually insanely impressed. It was so good. I got it from Dr. Baker's channel, so I am gonna film like a whole video for that today. Hopefully post it in a couple days. But yeah, day 6, still struggling, not gonna lie. We made it to day 7. Day 8 was better. I'm finding the last couple days aren't as terrible, which I think is directly linked to my increase in fat intake. So I've talked to a couple other like carnivore people, and a lot of people have said that like if you're just doing too high of protein and too little fat, it's gonna be really hard. So I've kind of switched it. I've tried to go up to like 70, 75, 80% calories from fat and the rest from protein. And obviously there's only like 10 grams of carbs a day. So I've been feeling more full, not having as intense cravings, and just not like thinking about food as much. Like even yesterday, I only ate once. I made like 4 burgers for like dinner and like took it with me, and I didn't even end up eating it, so I just wasn't that hungry. Same thing with today. I'm not finding myself as hungry. But yeah, so I think that's a good sign. I'm still craving coffee though. This post shower hair is wilding right now. Day 9 is complete. I'm so tired right now. It's like 10 o'clock, 10:30, but today something happened. I'm not sure what happened, but something happened. I felt so good today. I only ate 1 meal today, but it was 1,500 calories. I'll put a picture of it up right here. And I don't know if I like officially went into ketosis today. I don't know what it is, but I felt so good. I felt amazing at the gym and just completely different than how I've been feeling. So I don't know, maybe I just need to get past the first week, but whatever happened today, I'm hoping it happens tomorrow because it was a lot better. Also, I realized I haven't really been showing you guys too much of what I've been eating, so tomorrow when I record my like daily update, I'll show you guys what I'm having for breakfast. But day 9 is done. Let's go. Officially made it to day 10. I don't know why, but I've had like the worst headache all day today. You know what's crazy? Yesterday obviously I was saying I felt so good. I drank like almost 6 liters of water yesterday too. I just felt like I could not get enough water. So I don't know what it is. I might need to just take some electrolytes today, just like some more sodium, potassium, and maybe some magnesium, see how I feel. But other than that, other than like my headache, I feel like my energy levels have still felt good. I've still felt pretty similar to yesterday, just the freaking headache. But I'm about to eat right now, and I'm gonna show you guys what I'm having. Another thing I want to say too, just kind of like as a disclaimer, like diet is obviously a huge factor to how you feel. I think it's the biggest factor to how you feel, but you have to keep in mind there's still like so many other things going on. Like I don't think my headache is coming from this. I've been like insanely stressed the last few days. I've had super long days. I haven't slept as much as I would like to. So it's like no matter how good you're eating, no matter how many times you work out, you can be doing like everything right, but if you're still like chronically stressed, you're gonna be feeling it. So yeah, that's something I've been trying to keep in mind too. Not like everything is always related to diet. Like there's so many little factors that go into it. All right, so I got an 8-ounce ribeye, which is literally the best. Let me show you. This is what we got. I also had quite a few bites of like mozzarella cheese. So after I eat this plus the cheese total, I'll be at 1600 calories. Let me tell you my macros. 1600 calories, 125 grams of fat, 110 grams of protein, 7 grams of carbs. So we'll see how I feel after this. I am like super hungry, so I might want to eat more, but we're gonna have this first and see. It's technically day 11, but I need to tell you guys I've decided to stop the challenge. And I'm not really stopping it, actually. The only thing I'm just adding back is coffee. Honestly, it's been 10 days. I feel like I've just been so much unhappier this way, like being so much more restricted. And yeah, there's a lot of benefits for sure, which I'm gonna dive into in a bit. But in general, it's like, I'm not gonna force myself to keep going. I've already done like strict carnivore in the past too, but I never documented it. And I've been playing around with this diet so much, and it's really different for everyone. Like some people are okay with coffee, some aren't. Some people are okay with fruit, some aren't. So I don't think there's anything to feel guilty about. Like if you're watching this and you're somebody that has been maybe wanting to try, or you've been like struggling with figuring out what works for you on carnivore, it's a lot of trial and error, and you just need to listen to your body and see what feels best for you. So what's best for me is having some coffee. I'll tell you that for sure. Like I'm a caffeine addict, okay? And I'm not gonna go off the rails and start having like 5 coffees a day. Like right now, I just want like my 1 cup of coffee a day. I like my black coffee, nothing too crazy. And like most of the coffee I was drinking before was actually decaf. Like I always have decaf in the morning, maybe like 1 regular coffee in the afternoon, and that's it. So it's like genuinely I just enjoy the taste. It's something I look forward to in the morning. It helps me when I'm like doing a bunch of editing or like a bunch of client work, just to like have that drink. A lot of it I feel like is placebo, but yeah, I feel like 10 days was enough. I learned a lot these last 10 days. There were a lot of pros, a lot of cons, but I'm cutting it short. My intention was to do 30 days, but I'm not doing 20 more days of this. But thank you guys for even just like watching me do this for the last 10 days. I appreciate it. Hopefully it taught you guys something. Now I'm going to get into kind of like my whole recap on like how I felt over the whole 10 days, like what I learned, what I enjoyed, what I didn't enjoy. Pretty much all of it. I'm gonna give you a whole rundown. So let's get into that now. All right, 10 days on a pure, strict carnivore diet. Let's talk about the pros, let's talk about the cons. So there are 8 topics I want to cover: fat loss, cravings, bowel movements, mood, energy, water intake, sleep, and skin. So let's start right at the top. First of all, I just want to say, I'm honestly so happy that I did this. In just 10 days, I feel like so much happened and I learned so much, and it makes me just feel so much more better about kind of moving forward with like my own version of the carnivore diet, if that makes sense. The first thing I want to talk about is fat loss, which you guys can all probably guess by the fact that I was on 0 carbs and I was in ketosis for the last 10 days, there was going to be some fat loss. So I weighed in on day 1 at 154.8 pounds, I believe. And today I was 150.6. So I lost 4.2 pounds in 10 days, almost 5 pounds, which is a lot in 10 days. And I felt it. Like I could see like my abs starting to show a little more. I was feeling definitely like a lot leaner. Everything was just kind of like tightening up a bit. So that was definitely a perk of doing this. Number 2, which is cravings, and probably the most interesting aspect of this in my opinion. As you can see in like the first few days, basically days like 1 to 4, I was really struggling with cravings. Like There was one day, I think it was on day 3 or 4, where I was scrolling on TikTok for, I'm not even kidding, like an hour and a half just watching food videos. And then I like put my phone down and I was like, you are losing it. It was so bad. So the cravings were pretty crazy. And again, all I did was cut out like fruit and honey. It's not like I was going from like a junk food diet to this. Like I've already been on carnivore. So that was, I don't know, that was super interesting to me, like how intense the cravings were by just kind of like cutting out fruit. But also with that being said, I did introduce fruit into my diet like 2 months ago. And actually the last 2 months I've cheated more on the diet than I have the first 3 or 4 months. So that is one thing I've kind of been on the fence about. I don't know personally for me if like having carbs and having fruit right now is the best for me, because I do find that it brings back a lot of the cravings. So moving forward, I actually think right now I am gonna stick to like 0 carbs or just like as low as possible. I also want to make one more note in terms of the cravings. Okay, basically it depends where you're at with your current diet. Like I talk about this a lot more in my original carnivore video, but when I went from like a standard like American diet, whatever you want to call it, to my first like version of carnivore, the cravings were a million times worse than this. Like they were indescribable. They were insane, something I've never experienced before. So I had cravings this time, just going from like whatever fruit and honey to this, but it doesn't compare to what it was before. So I just want to say that, because if you are somebody that is like on a standard like diet, like junk food, processed food, things like that, and you're going to this, they're going to be like insanely intense, and it's a lot different for everybody. But if you want to hear more about that, I did talk about it a bit more in my original video. Number 3, bowel movements, which was also interesting. So I did track this every day for the 10 days, and in the 10 days I think I'm gonna have to double check my notes, but I think I had total like 3 or 4 poops, which is pretty crazy. And this is also another common thing when you go to carnivore. At the beginning, you're not pooping as much. Basically, the reasoning is because you're eating such like nutrient dense and rich foods, and your body's pretty much using everything you're eating, as opposed to before. Like before I used to poop like 5 to like 6 times a day. Like I'm telling you right now, that's not normal. So if that's you right now, it's basically just your body getting rid of like so much waste. And like when you're eating these foods on the carnivore diet, your body's actually using it, your muscles are using it, because your body's just absorbing everything, as opposed to like when you're eating a bunch of crap, your body just craps it out. So I wasn't constipated, I want to make that clear. I wasn't constipated, I just didn't have to poop as much. But also, I think a big factor of that was not having coffee as well, because coffee definitely makes me go to the bathroom more. Number 4, overall mood. Like I said, I was just not happy this week. Like even so many people were like, are you okay? Like what's wrong? Like I wouldn't necessarily say like I was sad. I just kind of felt like boring and like numb. And I'm realizing I feel like I'm boring without coffee. I had my first coffee today in 10 days. I just feel great. I love the coffee in my veins. I just feel good. I feel awake. I feel alive. And coffee wasn't like the only factor to my overall mood. That was definitely a big one, but I would also say it's just that feeling of being restricted. I know a lot of people struggle with it, a lot of people don't, but I personally struggle with it a lot. Like I have had an issue with binge eating my whole life. I still don't feel like I'm like completely healed from it. Like it's what I've done. I've always like coped with my like emotions that way by just like binge eating. So especially when I'm restricted, it makes it even worse. And even with something like this, like there's a difference between like not being able to have something and like kind of having a choice. And what I mean by that is like I have a severe sugar allergy. So like I'm allergic to like cane sugar, molasses, maple syrup. So even if I saw a cupcake or something, I'm like, I can't have like, it's not like, oh, like I really want it. Like maybe I'll have it. Like I can't even have it because I'll get so sick and throw up. Whereas opposed to something like on this diet, in the last 10 days, I haven't been able to have like fruit or honey, but it's like I technically could if I wanted to. Like it doesn't like affect me negatively. So I think that's just like a really hard thing. Or like even if you're out and like you really wanted a coffee and you're like, oh, I can't get it because I'm following this strict diet. I just think that's so different, and it really just, I think, makes people miserable. So it's just nice to have the option. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're being super strict, if there's like a day or two where you want to like have something off the diet and like you're okay with dealing with the consequences, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Maybe that's like an unpopular opinion like on carnivore, because I know a lot of people are like, don't cheat, never cheat, blah, blah, blah. But if you have like a day or two and you feel like you can control it, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So yeah, that was definitely a huge factor that affected my mood as well. Number 5 is energy, and specifically like how I felt in the gym. So just in these 10 days, I cannot believe the difference that I saw in my energy. And I'm sure it's because this is the first time I was like really in ketosis. And when I was in the gym, it was just like, I just felt it's so good, not even physically, but just mentally so dialed in. Like, usually when I'm at the gym, I feel like I'm always like thinking about like other people looking at me or like getting distracted, maybe going on my phone, this and that. But during these 10 days when I was at the gym, it was just like laser focus. I was just locked in the zone. I wasn't as out of breath. I wasn't as fatigued. I was doing like 2-hour sessions. Like, I just felt so good and so strong off of 0 carbs. I wasn't really expecting that. And even outside of the gym, my energy levels were like super stable. And I thought they were stable before, but I was able to stay up later. I wasn't like crashing at like 4, 5, 6 p.m. Like, I just felt really stable throughout the whole day, and that is an amazing feeling. Number 6 is water intake, which I found was pretty interesting. I was drinking way more water than normal. Typically I'll have 3 to 4 liters of water a day, which is already a lot. I try and usually hit like the 1 gallon mark. But I had a couple days this week where I was hitting like 5 liters, 6 liters. I was just so thirsty. And I don't know if it was because I was like working out longer and like harder in the gym, if I was like a little depleted with like my electrolytes, but it was like I could not get enough water. So that was another interesting point that I noticed. Number 7 is sleep. I will say I've never had an issue with sleep. I have had like some issues before where like I would wake up multiple times throughout the night, but like falling asleep is always super easy for me. The one thing I noticed in terms of sleep the last 10 days is the morning. So that is where I struggle, especially because I struggle with depression and stuff like that. But during these last 10 days in the morning, it was like I could just wake up and roll out of bed, where like before I would wake up and I'd be like snooze my alarm a million times, lay there for like a half hour and then get up. So I have like, if I had to guess, that has to do with like the 0 carbs as well. So that was like a really refreshing change, because I'm sure a lot of you know that feeling in the morning is the worst, when you have to literally drag yourself out of bed. Last but not least, point number 8 is my skin. So I'm gonna put up a picture here. The first picture was right before I started the diet, or the 10-day challenge, and then the second picture was me yesterday. So I've had, I don't know if you guys can see, so I've had this spot basically on my face since January of last year. It's been almost a whole year. It used to be a huge cyst. It's so stubborn, it basically won't go away. So it has like flared up and gone down, I'm not even kidding you, at least like 50 times within the last year. And anytime I eat something like I'm allergic to or super sensitive to, it just completely flares up. It gets super red. You can even see in that picture, like it's like kind of bright red, and now it's like calmed down a little bit. So that's something I noticed. But before starting the challenge, I didn't even cheat. I just had something I think I reacted to. I had like some lunch meat and cheese wraps. Typically I don't eat lunch meat because it's really hard to find clean meat. And the one I got had like potato starch, vinegar, spices, and like cultured sugar or something like that. So that's the only thing I had off the diet. So it has to be from that. But that just kind of shows you like how sensitive my skin is, which is very frustrating, because sometimes I would like to just have like pizza or like a burger or fries, something like that, but I can't because my skin reacts. But that was something I noticed the last 10 days. I feel like it's smoothed out a lot. Like I still have like my same scars and like red spots, but I feel like, I don't know, it kind of smoothed out a bit, and like more of my color came back. All right, so overall, I'm super happy. Super happy that I did this, and I feel like I learned so much. Basically, my plan going forward is I'm gonna stay off of carbs. Literally nothing is pretty much changing. I'm just introducing coffee. So I'm gonna have coffee again. I'm not gonna restrict myself with that. If there's like a day here and there where I maybe wanna have some like fruit or like something off the diet, I'm going to allow myself. But I have to say I am shocked with how good I felt off zero carbs, like being in ketosis. I think that's the first time I've like truly experienced that feeling. Now I understand why people love it so much, and like when they describe how good they feel. So yeah, that's why I'm grateful. I'm grateful I did this, because I just feel like you can always feel better. And like, I'm just so big on like experimenting and like trying to find like out what works for me. And that's why I'm just trying to like share as much as I possibly can with you guys, because I'm just on a mission to like feel my best. When you felt so terrible, like mentally and physically, it's just so hard, and I feel like you're just kind of willing to do anything to feel better. So that's what I'm trying to share with you guys. Hopefully any part of this can maybe like help you along like your health and fitness journey as well. But yeah, I'm feeling like super grateful and super happy that I like stuck it out for 10 days, because it showed me a lot. Again, thank you guys so much. There were so many of you on Instagram that were following along like day by day and like showing me so much love and support. So I appreciate that a lot. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Again, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like this video. It literally means the world to me as I'm trying to grow this channel. So I appreciate that so much. I have a lot of really good content coming for you guys. So stay tuned. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Peace.